So the last week of the season, so we got a bonus episode going on for you, and I had to bring in reinforcements. My guy, Big Wos, is with us today. We're talking about the Knicks. We're talking about the Nuggets. We're talking about Wemby up against the 65-game rule. All of that and more on today's All-NBA show. What is up, everybody, and welcome to the All-NBA show powered by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet at FanDuel.com/AllCity. I'm your host, Adam Mares. I'm joined by my esteemed colleague and good friend, Big Wos, host of the No Fouls Given podcast and just commenter on the NBA. What's going on, Big Wos? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy to be on with you, as always.
Yeah, it's been a minute since we've done a podcast together, so
Facts.
I get to get some takes from you. We're going to talk real quickly about some games. We got like 30 minutes of a show here today, but we had some great games in the association last night. I don't know how many more nights we're going to have great games because the seeding is starting to fall into place a little bit. But last night gave us some good ones, including the Knicks getting a win 108-105 over the Hawks. And, of course, as always, is Jalen Brunson in the fourth, him taking over. What stood out to you about this one other than C.J. McCollum could have won this game if the game was 0.1 seconds longer with a three-quarter court
crazy.
heave. Yeah, that was crazy.
Man, a couple of things stood out to me. Mitch Robinson, his ability to just be a game breaker, just disrupting stuff and just like, he does stuff that just can't be replicated elsewhere on the Knicks lineup. Like, he just affects other teams' offenses and just bends it to his own will. And that's just incredible because, like, that's what you need in a playoff series, right? Like, you need these guys that the other team just can't straight up decide to neutralize at any given moment. And what Mitch Robinson brings, both what he does defensively in terms of his rim protection, just size and stuff, and then offensively what he's doing on the boards, this team just can't really neutralize it to 100% degree. So that stood out to me because I think he turned the game around in the third quarter and early fourth with what he was doing. And then I think anybody who's watched the NBA for the last however many years, for me, my whole damn life, basically, your bias against younger teams is confirmed by watching that Knicks-Hawks game down the stretch because the Knicks kind of just know how to close it. And I don't even think the Knicks were perfect. I think there's a couple of times, and I think this is like Jalen Brunson's biggest weakness is sometimes he's just straight up tunnel vision, and he does become a straight up just like ball hog at the end of games at times. And, you know, he made a big shot and like he's one of the best big shot makers that I've ever seen, like actually literally. But there were times where I'm just like, all right, man, Dyson Daniels got Cat on a switch. I kind of rather that than you going against a Kongwu in isolation, right? And so I don't even think the Knicks were perfect. They were just more methodical. They just were better at knowing exactly what they wanted to do, especially on offense down the stretch. And then I think with the Knicks, as always, the last 2-3 seasons, and they got this in common with Denver, they're not a crazy high effort everyday team.
So
they're just straight up not.
Yeah.
They have a keen awareness of what games are important and what games are kind of just blah. And I thought in moments last night that you saw the real Knicks in terms of second efforts on defense, great rotations. You know, whenever you see OG and Bridges getting weak side blocks, that means they're keyed into what they're doing. It's like, all right, I'm leaving my man to go make a play. And so I just thought down the stretch, the Knicks just look like a team that's ready to do playoff stuff. And the Hawks are they're trying to figure it out.
I think there's two things. I love the comp to the Nuggets because I actually agree that I think the Knicks and Nuggets share that trait. I think the commonality is two things. One is that the Nuggets aren't athletic. The Knicks have more athleticism. The Nuggets aren't athletic, so to defend, you have to give a lot of effort.
Yes.
And Denver, it's like they just know in the regular season this is not a night we can give effort, so let's just try to outgun them. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, it looks bad. The Knicks are more athletic, but they still have to give enormous amount of effort to defend. And you're talking about guys like Mitchell Robinson who could bring it every night. That's part of why he's effective, and just because obviously he's like that physical mismatch. But guys like Hart, Bridges, OG, those guys have a pretty big gap between what it looks like when they're playing hard versus when they're not. And so when they are, that's your point. But the other thing they share, Jalen Brunson and Jamal Murray both have this thing, and I think it's like psychological. It's something about them, trauma or something, that causes them to, when the game gets intense. It's like Jamal Murray, we laugh that he can't play well unless there's enormous pressure on him, because then it just locks him in. And I think Jalen Brunson's the same way, man. Like when you get to those shots in the fourth quarter that are touch shots that feel like even your best players are just going to shoot a certain percentage at them, it feels like both of those guys don't miss them when they can get to their spots. And Brunson gets to them, and he just makes all of them in those moments.
Yeah, if you were watching the Peacock broadcast last night, before Brunson made the go-ahead bucket, Austin Rivers is like, yo, man, he's going to get to a spot. He's going to get to a spot and get a shot off here. And he does exactly that. And it's a tough shot. It's super well defended. And he makes it anyway. Again, I'm a lot more bullish on the Knicks than most people are.
Talk me into them.
Yeah, I just think the Knicks are a better playoff team than they are regular season. I think they can play multiple ways because they can go two big, one big. They can go, they can throw a bunch of guards, a bunch of wings out there. They're pretty damn good at shooting. They're a good shooting team. They have a closer. Like, to me, they have two wing defenders that can be more than adequate. In OG's case, he can be dominant. They have a rim protector. Like, they have all the components you need in a series to be like, okay, it's Detroit. Okay, it's Boston. Okay, it's Cleveland. You can custom fit your team to what you need in a given series. And they've played in so many of these freaking games by now as a collective. All of the comebacks from last year or even last night, where the Hawks, by all rights, should have won that game. And the Knicks just have this characteristic that they don't give up on games. Like, they just know that they're in every game no matter what the score is. And I just think that's going to serve them in the playoffs. And so I understand why everybody thinks Boston is the favorite. I think they rightfully so at this point should be seen as the Eastern Conference's favorite, to be honest.
Great.
But I don't see them as a juggernaut. I certainly don't see them as how I saw them last year,
right,
where I was like, this is obviously going to be the team in the finals. And so I don't see them as this guaranteed. I do think the Knicks have just as good a chance as anybody to come out of the East.
I hope you're right about it. I mean, we'll find out. I do think that they have a top, like a closing five, and they have a top 8 that is what you need. I think you need 9 guys early on in a series, but it gets down to 8. And I do think their top 8 with Mitchell Robinson, Shamet, McBride, obviously they know exactly what that rotation looks like and what everybody's job is. So even just checking that box is big going into the playoffs, because not everybody has that. Some teams are about, even high-profile teams like San Antonio, do they really know what their top 8 is when push comes to shove and we go to this? They have a lot of guys, but they're going to find out in the playoffs, like, okay, this guy maybe rises, this guy falls a little bit. Here's the story for me from last night, though. Nickeil Alexander-Walker.
Insane, dude.
I think he might be I'm not saying a star, because I still don't know that he's a star, but he was doing star stuff last night. Like, he had a couple, like, Tim Hardaway two-step crossover moves, to get to the basket. And you don't do that if you're a role player who gets to, a little extra leash, so I'm going to do a little extra stuff. You do that when you're a star. He played like a star. He had a corner 3 right in front of the Knicks bench late in the game that was like superstar stuff.
It was insane. Before that, he had one of those movement threes, and they mentioned it. They was like, yo, this guy's shooting 40% on movement threes. I'm like, what the hell is happening right now? He was unbelievable. And when I was watching it, I'm like, man, what's so funny? There was a thought that Atlanta might have maybe slightly overpaid when they went and got him from the Wolves. I'm like, this guy is on an insane value contract right now. Like, to go from slightly overpaid to bro, this guy's crazy underpaid. It's just wild. And the stuff you're mentioning, Adam, is important. the stuff he's doing off the dribble, the pull up threes. Like what? You're a pull up three artist now. I remember when he was a guy that people would leave open in the corners,
right? Because the shot looks disgusting. I mean, it looks like
it looks weird. It's a weird shot. This guy was almost out the league before he found himself in Minnesota. Like, it was like, all right, he's one of these like lottery first round guys that just never materialized. And he made a role for himself in Minnesota. I would say he was indispensable, honestly. Like, when him and Jaden McDaniels, what they were doing to Denver, dude, in that 7-game series defensively, I was just like, this is Jamal Murray. Like, I've never seen this guy rattled handling the ball. Like, this guy they were hounding this guy.
Yeah.
And Alexander, I was like, okay, a nice 3-and-D guy, one of the few 3-and-D guys who actually has both.
Right.
And now he's a on the ball guy, which is just crazy because he's making probably $10 million less than Dyson Daniels is. And like, what?
Yeah. He's like one of the most surprising, that guy's better than we thought players of the last, like, James Harden represents this a little bit because you remember when Houston picked him up, you're like, oh, man, I like Harden, but is he really a number one guy? And if you remember, his first game was a 50-piece for Houston, and you're like, oh, man, we all were off on this. This guy's superstar, and obviously he was. That's a high-profile one, but sometimes you get a guy who you're just like, it's a good role player, somebody overpaid for him, and then they turn out to be that. Maybe Jeremy Grant is another example of this. You remember Jeremy Grant was like kind of fun, toolsy player, but what is he? And then he goes to Detroit, and you're like, oh, he can actually be a volume scorer.
Facts.
Nas like the best of this because I think he's actually high impact too. And it changes how I think of the Hawks because I obviously love Jalen Johnson. It's one of my favorite players. Okongwu is doing some interesting stuff now with his kind of all-around play. He's a versatile big now. And now and I look at that and I'm like, it's kind of three guys you love. Obviously, you have the veteran and CJ McCollum, but they have three young players right now that are on any given night a lot better than what their reputation was 3 months ago. And that's what makes them fun.
Yeah, Kongwu being somebody you don't want to leave at the 3 point. Again, like I've been watching this kid basically since he got drafted, and I've always liked him because he's always had a high motor. Yeah. And you could tell like he cared about the right things in terms of what a big man's supposed to be doing on offense and defense, which to me, when you're a young guy setting good ass screens, actually catching the ball, you know what I mean? Yeah. Playing hard every single possession. Like he was on that very early. And, you know, some of the skill stuff has come to him late, but the way he's shooting it now, the confidence that he shoots it with, not to say he's Dirk Nowitzki or anything stupid like that, but somebody his size has to be a threat from out there. And the fact that he's doing that is incredible. You know, Jalen Johnson is just like one of these insanely talented, gifted. He's matching the talent with like incredible feel. And again, another guy who's unselfish, plays the right way. So just really cool to watch. But Alexander-Walker, like, again, I fell in love with him because of what he was doing in Minnesota as a pure role player. Yeah. Straight up. Head of the snake, hounding point guards on defense, and you can't leave them wide open on offense. So it allows Ant and all these other guys, the stars, to operate in an optimal way, honestly. And to now just being like, no, give me the ball and get the hell out the way. It's like, yo, I'm hunting Jalen Brunson in one-on-one down the stretch because he can't mess with me. Like, what?
It's insane. $15 million a year for next 4 years, by the way. That is, bro. Right. That's like that's one of the best contracts now in the NBA.
Bro,
that's gonna be your cheapest starter, basically, going forward, or you're paid like a six man in the NBA.
Starter money's supposed to be in the 20s, Adam.
I know.
Like that's in the new NBA. Like that's supposed to be the baseline. You think about what he's getting paid, and a guy like Emmanuel Quickly, who got paid on quote unquote potential, who's making again double.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, Emmanuel Quickly is not better than this dude.
That's such a value contract, man. I love the Hawks. I kind of root for them to win the win the lottery. The Hawks, the Hornets, like there's some teams that are not quite great to get like too excited about right now, but are so fun to watch, and you just wonder what they're going to become. Let's go to the other game I want to talk about real quick, which is the Nuggets getting a comeback win over the Blazers. Listen to this, Waz. 137-132. Game went to overtime. 2 straight games, Denver goes to overtime. Denver got outscored by 39 points from the three-point line. The Blazers set a franchise record, not a season record, a franchise record 25 made threes on 48% shooting. They outscored Denver from the free throw line, and yet Denver still gets the win. And it's because their offense right now in the fourth quarter, 2 games in a row, does not miss. They were down, I think, 18 points in the fourth. And when it came down to clutch time, Denver scored every time down court. It goes to overtime every single time down. I haven't believed in Denver all year. I believed in them a lot coming in. It's been a weird one. Injuries. You've been texting me, telling me to act like a man, basically. That's what you say. I get a text. I'm like, all right, man, chill. But the reason is because in the clutch this year, and some of it's been injury, this is what Denver is. When it's time to go, they go. And Denver has hit the Nas button a couple times in the middle of the year and it didn't fire. And so I'm like, I don't know, maybe something's up. But here we are at the end of the year, and when it comes to clutch time right now, I'm like, they're going to score every time. So if they're within 6 points, game's over.
Yeah, again, Denver's offense to me is just metronome-like. And, it's crazy because all this MVP chatter and, obviously I think Shea's the MVP. I think the Wemby thing was a bit overstated, just a little bit. Not crazy, but just a little overstated. But the reality is, Adam, before Jokic, somebody crashed into his freaking leg. He was having the best offensive season in the history of our lives, in the history of the sport. Y'all can go look that up. This guy was having, for 2.5 months, the best offensive season ever in NBA history. That's what he was doing. And then he got hurt. And I think when he came back, he just wasn't as good. The level being the stratosphere, right? And so I think he's coming back to being closer to that, though, now. Whereas, I think they were playing Utah, man. Utah turned Jokic over into double digits. And I'm just like, come on, man. What the hell is going on out here? Because, I watched you guys on All NBA talk about the Spurs game where it's they're playing either the best or the second best defense in the NBA. Jokic has 0 turnovers. Yeah. So that's what I mean. Look, I like Will Hardy. I like Utah's pieces. They should never turn Nikola Jokic over 10 times. That's not a thing. And so, I'll never stop believing in the Nuggets offense. That's just, to me, it's just a fact of life. They're going to be excellent against whoever the opponent is. To me, it's the defense, man. Can you be adequate? We're not asking you to be world beaters. Be adequate. And we've seen it in moments they can dial it up to be adequate enough. It just felt for a month and change stretch with Jokic where guys were just attacking him. And it was just he just clearly was not going to put extra effort into whatever. It's just all right, man, I'm going to concede a shot and y'all figure it out.
Yeah. To me, it comes down to Aaron Gordon's health. And he's still on a minute restriction. When you throw Jokic, Murray, and Aaron Gordon on the court together, right now they're a plus 20 net rating on the season on a pretty good sample size. And I'm just looking at that and I'm like, that's the Nuggets. Those three just haven't been together as much as usually, and that's really the difference. But when they are together, all boxes are checked. You could put almost any other spare parts around it, but all boxes are checked. AG had 3 clutch threes last night in the game. His best comp to me is Andre Iguodala. Not because they play the same style. They're different versions of it. They function
in the same role, though.
But it's just they literally could do so many different things, and they know exactly which ones are needed at which time, and they execute it perfectly. Iggy completed the death lineup. Aaron Gordon completes the duo that is Jamal Murray and Nickeil Jokic. And right now they're kind of peaking. Nuggets are on a 9-game win streak. The Nuggets have never won 10 games in a row in the Nickeil Jokic era. Isn't that a crazy stat? The Hawks have an 11-game win streak this year.
Again, that just speaks to the general attitude towards the regular season that the Nuggets tend to take.
So true, man.
And just they've never had, because if you remember, man, the 73-win Warriors, what was so special about them is that they just didn't take nights off.
Yep.
Locked in. There was no low effort nights. They were no, we're trying to make history here. And some people well, that cost them the finals. I tend to not believe that, honestly.
That's a good take, by the way. Yeah, like they just lost that series regardless. It wasn't like they were fatigued.
I don't think it's because they went 73-9.
It's a great
but
take.
I just remember that regular season. These guys just took every game seriously.
Yep.
And it didn't matter if it was the worst team in the league or the best team or the second best team in the league. Obviously, at that time, they were going to go in and take it seriously. Whereas sometimes I just watch the Nuggets jogging up the court and Murray's dragging a leg and Jokic is just pointing at guys and conceding layups. And I'm just like, all right, they're not giving it their full effort today.
For sure, Denver, like it can make them mad. Frustrating is crazy. But let's go to this other one. So the Spurs play the Sixers last night. Mm-hmm. So we go straight from Jokic Wemby. Now we get an Embiid Wemby matchup. Embiid was giving him the business early on in this game. I think he had 20 at the half. But Wemby exited the game after just 16 minutes. And this is meaningful because you got to play 20 minutes for that 65 game rule to count. And now he's up against it. He has a rib contusion. There's 3 games left. I'm not sure how much they're going to matter for San Antonio. In fact, is it locked in? No, it's not quite locked in. One more game, it'll be locked in. But the Spurs are going to be the 2 seed with nowhere to go. So the only reason Victor Wembanyama would play in these final games is to hit the 65 game rule. And now he has a rib contusion. I think he can miss 2 of the 3. But the last game of the year is against the Denver Nuggets, who likely need the game for seeding purposes. So now a question becomes, with bruised ribs, do you go up in the final game that means nothing to you? And oh, by the way, you're going up against one of the most physical players in the NBA, Nickeil Jokic. That might be what it takes for him to qualify for end-of-season awards. I find it to be hilarious, but also completely absurd.
Yeah, I defended this rule early on in how it was applied because I do think there needed to be some kind of pressure on the other side of the load management conversation. Because what people don't understand is that the dictate is coming from the top. It's coming from organizations. It's coming from GMs, management, ownership for players to sit out games. And so now when the league applies this pressure to the players, and some would say it's unfair because you're depriving them of their individual accolades that are tied to contracts and all of that. But the players are now going to apply their own pressure to management and be like, yo, fam, I'm playing, right? And so I understood why they were applying it that way. It's just like with so many things in the NBA, I just think, and I hate that I've become this person that longs for the days of David Stern.
I'm telling you.
But like,
come on.
But like the idea that Adam can't wrangle these guys,
can't do it.
The ownership, and be like, guys, we're doing something collectively here, and just because it's good for you individually, right freaking now, doesn't mean it's not going to be bad for all of us.
Totally.
In the long term. Like the fact that he can't communicate this vision to this group, I think speaks poorly of Adam, to be 100%. Honest. To be honest with you, because it's almost like a GM who can't explain to ownership why they shouldn't do this crazy rash thing that they want to do. It's just like, well, part of your job is managing up. Adam, your job is to manage up too. And like the fact that you can't explain to Utah that, bro, I get it. You really want to keep your pick and all that. But, like, this is a horrible look for our game that you literally threw a game in the middle of it. You literally threw a game in the middle of the game. I think all of this stuff is of a piece to me that Adam can't explain to Utah. Like, we know the math. You're not a freaking genius for doing this.
I know.
We all know that you're not smart. And I'm sorry, Adam, and this grinds my gears. The way that people in our industry is like, well, of course they have to do it. No, they don't.
I know. The defense of it is even worse.
You don't actually have to do this because of the difference between Cam Boozer and Koa Pete. I'm sorry, bro. Like, these dudes ain't going to change your life. The difference between these guys is not going to change your life that much that you sacrifice the freaking integrity of an entire fucking league.
Yeah.
It's crazy to me. And so to me, this is the same thing. It's like Adam's inability to talk to ownership and be like, guys, We all need to be invested in making sure these guys play as much as they humanly possibly can.
Yeah.
I'm not saying run guys into the ground, but they need to play as much as humanly possible.
Well, this is the thing, man, when we say we miss David Stern era, because I don't think you can create a system where it's like, all right, well, then we'll have this penalty and this thing, because then you get the 65-game rule. Now we're all like, damn, this sucks. Here's the thing what David Stern would have done. Frozen envelope. Like you take it for all this. You know what?
Right, cool.
Bring back the frozen envelope.
I bet you don't get the first pick.
Yeah, I bet you don't. Good job, Utah. Take the whole year.
Shit.
You're picking 5th. What bad luck for you. And then on top of that, it's like, all right, you know what? You've pissed us off all year with this load management or whatever. Next year, you got 19 back-to-backs. We just put the schedule together, and I'm sorry. It's some coincidence. We had to do it. It's almost like you can't just rule these things out because the teams will always take the incentives, and if there's an incentive to be found, they're going to find it.
Everything needs to be on a freaking graph or chart with these people. And it's like at a certain point, there needs to be a social contract.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be like just an explicit understanding that like, bro, yes, we're in competition to get against each other, but we're also in community together as a league, as a freaking cartel. The cartel doesn't work if people are going rogue constantly, bro.
We're out here advocating for cartel-style NBA. But it's true. It's what we need, though. It is funny, though. Last game of the year, Nuggets at San Antonio. It probably means a lot for Denver because they right now are the 3 seed. They might, if they have to win out to become the 3 seed, that game is going to matter a lot. It will not matter at all for San Antonio, but it will matter for Wemby. So now we have all these weird incentives. Maybe it just makes for an extra good game, though. You know what? Maybe it works out to where we actually get a good game there where I thought it might be a laugher. Let's take a quick break, Waz, if you're good with it. Let's take a quick break. And on the other side, I do want to talk about the matchups you most want to see. I got the ones I want. And we're going to play a quick game of true or false, including, will there be an American-born MVP in the next 5 years? We'll talk about that on the other side. Now about FanDuel, though, if you guys are trying to get in on the action, you can bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $50 in bonus bets just for getting started. And when every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up, FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips so you can check stats, trends, and matchups all in one place and make your pick with confidence. It's everything you need all in one app, so don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/AllCity to get started. FanDuel, play your game.
Must be 21 or older and present in select states. For Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York.
You know that moment, the one where you realize you left your favorite sunglasses at the beach, on the roof of your car, or at a gas station 3 states away? Well, I've been there too, but luckily I've got Shady Rays. They've changed the game. They've got sunglasses that are made for real life. They're seriously good-looking, polarized, durable, and not stupidly expensive. But the wild part is if you lose or break them, even on day one, Shady Rays will send you a brand new pair. No guilt trip, just replacements. So you can wear your sunglasses without fear on hikes, at concerts, on a boat, wherever. Shady Rays is eyewear that has your back. Go to shadyrays.com and use the code ALLCITY for 40% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. All right, back here, segment 2, me and Big Waz. So the playoffs start in 1 week. We got the play-in coming in exactly 1 week. But there are playoffs that we really want to see. And I'm going to start with the 3 obvious ones. And we can't get all 3 of them. Nuggets Thunder, Nuggets Spurs, Thunder Spurs. We're probably only going to get 2 out of the 3 of those because obviously they can't all play each other. They'll be the top 3 seeds. But those 3 series, man, right now I feel like all of them are going at least 6, if not 7, and all of them have like a dozen storylines to them. To me, that's the 3 best series we could probably see in this year's playoffs.
Yeah, I don't have any doubt about that. And actually, I do want to see Boston and OKC because I feel like we were, quote unquote, cheated out of it last year between Boston just straight up. They lost to the Knicks straight up even before the injury, which is crazy. And I just think their styles just remind me of each other, just being so like interchangeable in terms of everything around the main guys. Like they just plug and play these bigs and these wings and these guards, and it's just like, all right, long as I got Shea or Tatum and Brown out there, it's just gonna run exactly the same as it always does. And I do think, the coaching matchup would be super interesting.
Agreed.
As well. I would love to see Charlotte against Detroit.
Me too, man. It's on my list. I can't believe it's literally the next one that's on my list.
Yeah.
I hope we get it.
And I hope so too. And I was very down on Detroit the last month and a half, just generally. And Cade goes down, and I'm just like, all right, this is just gonna be all bad for these guys. Even when he comes back, he's coming back in the playoffs from a collapsed lung.
Yeah,
it feels bad, but these guys answered the bell in a way that
100%
their fans should be so proud of in terms of the personal pride that these guys take in what they do. And so I'm higher. I'm actually higher since the Cade injury on Detroit than I was before it, which makes absolutely no sense. But it's just about a bigger belief in the collective than I had before. And so I still want to see them play against just an energetic, high-octane offense like Charlotte's. And I just think that would be a dope first-round matchup, a great test for them in the first round.
And it's offense-defense, which is always fun when you get a complete – they're just polar opposites in how they get it done. So which side of that is going to win? And then on top of that, the Hornets are – I really think the Hornets are good. This is not a thing where I'm I am a little bit lower on the Pistons in the playoffs. We'll see. I've been wrong about them when Cade went down, to your point, so maybe I'll be wrong about them in the playoffs. I'd welcome it. It'd be good for Detroit. But Charlotte's not a plucky upside. I almost look at Atlanta that way. And maybe it's unfair to Atlanta because they've been playing well too, where I'm like, man, this is great. It's really going to launch them into next year. Charlotte, I look at, and I just look at some of the numbers, and I'm like, I think they can – this team might actually be just a 55-win team that had a horrible start. And now we're talking about that's kind of a fair fight with Detroit.
Straight up, dude. And they're so young, again, to bring up the Nuggets and the Knicks. They do the opposite of what those guys do in that they just play hard every single night. And again, those advantages become muted. The team that always comes to mind is the Derrick Rose-less Tibbs Bulls, where they just completely overperformed in the regular season because Tibbs just had these guys going 100 every night. And then the playoffs come, it's like, well, everybody's going 100. So your talent deficit is more acute now. But I think Charlotte is not just, like you said, plucky. They're talented. They play hard, they're well coached, they're unselfish, and they're talented.
Yeah.
This is a real team. To me, they're a real threat. And so I'm hoping they get out there playing along with Philadelphia for obvious reasons. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I would be happy to see Orlando not in my playoffs. I'm sick of that team, bro.
They're not the most enjoyable team.
That team has, dude, when you talk about making me sick,
I know,
making me want to throw up. I thought these guys were a dark horse finals contender coming into the season, honestly. And the way they've comported themselves this year, yuck.
I don't know who's had the most unlucky season. It might be Houston, just because before the season started, Fred VanVleet going down, it's almost like the whole year was thrown out. But outside of the guys that were out for the year, I think Orlando might have had the worst luck, just because the team that we see is maybe the team they would have been with Franz more or less anyway. They probably would have won more games. Maybe it just wasn't the right formula and they were going to have to learn that. But the fact that you don't even get that intel, this whole year goes away and you just have to make decisions going forward. That's the worst spot to be in. Here's another one for you. I don't know if you're interested in this one. I think we're getting it. Lakers-Rockets first round. Neither team's going anywhere, in my opinion. Neither team's going anywhere. So you might as well have one series that gives us something.
Yeah.
One last KD LeBron ride. Does that do anything for you?
I would have preferred both of these guys get cooked in the first round, to be honest. That would have been my preference. The idea that the Wolves and the Nuggets, one of which will have to be sacrificed so that one of these clearly limited non-threats to the championship can advance is annoying to me. But yeah, just LeBron and KD going at it one last time is going to be fun for me personally, as somebody who I would say became the level of NBA fanatic that I've become within the LeBron and KD era. I would say basically I was personally college basketball, football, NFL, MLB, NBA guy. And then a decision happened. It was like, no, all my focus is on the NBA.
That's what
this is the most interesting thing that could possibly be happening. Like the idea that fans in Denver and Memphis are booing these guys venomously because this dude joined. Like this is the best story I've ever seen in sports. And so, like, my attachment to the NBA is so tied to KD and LeBron specifically. And so, yeah, it'll be cool to watch it. But those teams are just, they're dead on arrival to me. Even Houston. I know people, like, we had moments throughout the year where we thought Houston could be a serious team. To me, they're DOA.
Even with this change, I mean, here's the thing. You have to have something to hang your hat on going into the playoffs, and I don't buy Houston either. But the Reed Shepherd move, putting him in the starting lineup, like if you're a Rockets fan, you can be like, there it is. That's the missing piece.
Right.
Like, okay, now we're a different team than we have been for 70 games. At least, hey, I'm doing this for Denver right now. I'm like, no, they're the team of the last 9, not the team of the previous 70. But whatever. You just need something like that going to the playoffs. Let me give you some quick hitters before I get you out because I've already kept you long. True or false? A play-in team will win a series this year. If you look at the play-in teams, Sixers, Hornets, Magic, Heat, you go to the other side, Suns, Clippers, Blazers, Warriors. Any of those teams have a chance at winning an upset?
To me, this is more of a question of the top 4 seeds than it is the play-in teams. And again, because I've lost my big doubts about Detroit, I just don't think so. I think that's false. No play-in team gets out of the first round.
It does feel like that's the only one. The Warriors and like the Clippers have a chance, I guess, to be the 7-2. Is San Antonio just inexperienced? Can you steal game 1 and all of a sudden the pressure's off and the shot? You know, they rely on the 3-point shot so much. Do they get tight? You could maybe squint to talk yourself into it. Steph Curry coming back. Like the Warriors are another one of these funny teams where it's like as long as they're healthy at the end, they know what to do. And I would love to see Steph Curry just get into the playoffs this year, but beating Oklahoma City seems so far-fetched. I think you're right. Hornets, Pistons, and I'd say it's less likely than likely. How about this one? True or false? Shai Gilgeous-Alexander will be the best player in every series he plays.
I think that's true. I honestly don't think – I think Jokic is the only guy in the series against Shai who will, like, actually has a chance to outplay him. I just don't think – I don't think Wemby's going to outplay Shai in a playoff series. I just don't. And it's more so about what OKC is going to do defensively than about, you know, Wemby individually and how great he is or how great he's going to be. I think this is going to be a defining playoffs for Shai. And I think people need to start reckoning with the idea that Shai is basically one of the best players ever.
Yeah.
Like he just straight up is. I'm not there on the LeBron, Magic, Mike, Kareem. Obviously, I'm not there yet. But man, I think he's gonna end up knocking on the top 10 on that door by the time it's like you can't argue with like what he's putting on the floor and how he does it. In the biggest times when the defense is most keyed in, most locked in, most paying attention to their assignments and execution, like this dude just beats you every time. Like that's all-time stuff to me. And so, yeah, man, Shai is like I think I've always been a Shai guy ever since watching him here his rookie year. And just the strides that he was taking as a rookie, month by month, he was just one of those rookies that got better every single month. And you talk to people around the Clippers, like I don't know if I ever told you this. I remember somebody on the Clippers was like, "Yeah, we think he has Penny Hardaway potential," and I remember being floored by that and just being disgusted by the notion.
So crazy.
Just being a washed millennial. I was like, Penny Hardaway, are you out of your mind? And obviously, he's so clearly like beyond that. And so I think Shea is gonna put his foot in some asses this playoffs.
I agree with you about Shea, by the way. Just what it is that he can make shots that he can get every time, and he doesn't lose the ball. Like, you can't take the ball out of his hands unless you trap. And so inherently, he's going to do what Luka and Jokic do with ball movement and everything else, where it looks more impressive because, the ball's always through you. It's just that you have to double him. If you double him, you're playing 3-on-4. And if you don't, he's going to get the shot that he wanted, and he makes him at such a high rate. And so it just works every time. And the fact that his handle can stay live against the best defenders is just, it's pretty impressive. So I'm with you. I don't know if he's going to be the best player in every series, though. You got Denver potentially. And as much as they have defenders for Yoke, I still think, last year I thought Yoke put up a better series just individually, especially as it went on. Wemby is an interesting one because the Spurs do have perimeter defenders that I think can make Shea's life difficult, and I could see Wemby outperforming him. But then you said the Celtics matchup. Like, Jalen Brown and Jason Tatum, I think Jalen Brown in particular, I would say I think Shea would be the best player in that series, but would you be shocked if Jalen Brown played him in the finals?
Not the version of Jalen Brown I've seen this year. No.
So it's possible.
I wouldn't be shocked. It's definitely possible. I just really do think Shea understands the mission that's in front of him. Like, he understands there's still a sort of skepticism and people like, oh, the foul merchant. Like, all of that shit is just people doubting you.
Yeah.
And I think he understands that. And I think he's going to rise to the occasion.
He's still a foul merchant, but significantly less so than he was. Like, he doesn't rely on it. It's in his bag. Right. It's there, but he can score without it. So it's I think that's the difference.
Will have you believe like this is peak Trae Young.
Right.
And it's just not.
Well, the worst guy right now, Denny Avdia might be the worst one. In the clutch last night, man, Denny Avdia went for like 6 straight foul baits. And I was just like, man, every possession, you're not even going to try to score. You're just going to, it was wild. He got an offensive foul. He drew some free throws. I was like, man, this is insane. Let's go now. Last one for you.
Let's do it.
True or false? An American-born player will not win MVP in the next 5 years. So you're looking at Anthony Edwards. Yeah. Anthony Edwards, Jalen Brunson, maybe Cooper Flagg, Cade. There's a couple options out there. It's already been 7 years.
No, it's not gonna happen.
I think that's the right answer.
It's not gonna happen. These guys, like, as much as I love Cade and Ant, like, do you really think they're gonna match Wemby's level the next 5 years?
What do you make of Flagg putting up these 50-point games? He's putting up these big numbers. Numbers are so inflated, I feel like right now, that everything you take with a grain of salt. But the fact that he's scoring this many 40-point games, gets a 50-piece, and he's so young, 5 years from now?
It feels unlikely that he's going to be Luka, Ant, Shea.
Yeah.
Obviously not Jokic. Just put the ball in his hands and magic happens. That just feels so unlikely.
Could he be Giannis? Where it's just like, you know what I mean? Like, he's kind of a version of Giannis.
It's just a sort of like through the sheer will and ferocity of his game, he can just get to efficient scoring. Maybe, man. Like, I just think at his size, he's flashed way better ball handling, shooting off the dribble than I thought was possible for his rookie year. That doesn't mean he's at star level yet.
Yeah.
Like, will he be as good with the ball in his hands as Devin Booker? Like, does that seem like something like that seemed like very far-fetched to me coming into the season, but it's not inconceivable. It's just, man, that's hard to believe.
I could see him being a Giannis type where it's 30 points per game through sheer will. People don't, he's like, does he have a bag? Does he have this or that? And he'll have a bag. It's just people exaggerate it because it's not Luka's bag or Shea's bag. But it's just sheer will. And then bring it every single night. You just have to find yourself on a good team. 4 or 5 years from now, they have a team where they just win 59 games. And you're like, hey, man, that guy's putting up 30 points a game through sheer will. So Flag to me seems like the most likely. And then guys like Ant, Brunson, Cade, it just comes down to they have a great team around them, because I don't think those guys would win an MVP in the traditional way, but they could win it in the
like they will themselves to a number one seed in the conference, and they're clearly the best player, and they have a great efficient season, and they play a bunch of games, and Wemby ends up missing 19 of them, and Ant somehow plays 72, and I guess I could see. Because it's not just Wemby. It's still going to be Shea. It's still going to be Jokic. It's still going to be Luka. It's still going to be Wemby. Like, I know. Y'all not getting no MVPs. I'm sorry.
I know, man.
God bless America, but it ain't.
We go 12 years with only foreign-born MVPs. It would be crazy, man.
Yeah,
It'd
nuts.
be crazy. So, all right, cue that outro music there. Atticus was. I told you 30 minutes. You gave me 45. I always appreciate it, brother. And it was good stuff, man. It's good just catching up with you.
You guys, man, and I'm watching all your All NBA stuff. I'm still tapping in with DNVR. I'm in the mix. Don't worry.
You're gonna make it. Nuggets go to the conference finals. You got to come out here. You got to catch one of these games, man.
I will. I will.
We got to do something. Everybody, follow Big Wos. Great follow. Hit the like button for us. We'll see you with legs tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.